Hi, everyone, and welcome to yet another series of words for you. You can utilize these words in a variety of competitive exams, in your daily conversations, and whatnot, right? Our first word is intrinsic. Intrinsic. It means being an extremely important characteristic of a person or a thing. So, if something is an extremely important characteristic of you, that means it is your intrinsic character, right? Sports are an intrinsic part of the school curriculum. That means sports is always an important part of school's curriculum. Therefore, sports are intrinsic part. Stay-at-home mothers are an intrinsic part of the family finances, right? Mothers who stay at home, manage the houses, the groceries, and whatnot. They are the ones who are making sure that the finances are in control, they balance it, right? So they are an intrinsic part of the family finances. They are an extremely important part of family finances. The intrinsic value of a coin is the value of the metal it is made of. So, the real or the most important part of a coin that gives it value is the metal it is made of. So, the metal is the reason that a coin would go high or low in price, right? So, the extremely important characteristic of a coin, that means intrinsic value of a coin, is the value of its metal. So intrinsic means extremely important part or extremely important characteristic of a person or a thing. All right. Inveigle. Inveigle means to persuade someone to do something in a dishonest way, right? So if you tell someone that, it's okay, you take this money, you won't be, you won't get caught or anything. Just keep this money for some time, and yeah, you are now a millionaire, a billionaire, right? They are persuading you to take that money. So that's that's not right, and you did not even do anything for it, right? So if they are persuading you to do something in a dishonest way, that means you were inveigled into it. So a lot of people were inveigled into the scheme. That means they were persuaded by someone to do something in a dishonest manner, right? So that is inveigled. Her son tried to inveigle her into giving him the money for a car. That means his son tried to persuade her by dishonest means to so that she'll give him money for the car, right? Smart kid. With patience, she can eventually inveigle him into marrying her. So this woman seems like really wants to marry this guy. So maybe with patience, she'll be able to persuade this guy into marrying, right? Inveigle him into marrying her, like persuade him that he should marry, right? So inveigle means to persuade someone to do something, but you are doing it in a dishonest way, right? You're not being fair about that process. Invigorate. Invigorate means to make someone feel fresher, healthier, and more energetic. So if you are the one who makes the friends group more fresh, healthier, more energetic, that means you are invigorating them, right? They argued that a cut in the tax rate would invigorate the economy. That means it would strengthen the economy, it would make the economy flourish. So, invigorate can also be used to say you strengthened something. So, cutting the tax rate would make sure that the economy would be strengthened. Take a deep breath in to invigorate you. That means if you want to make yourself feel fresher, healthier, you should take a deep breath in. right? I'm gonna do that. Food containing calcium can invigorate health effectively. So, if we take food which is containing calcium, it would make you feel more energetic, healthier, or fresher, effective, right? So, invigorate is to make someone feel fresher, healthier, or more energetic. Irascible. Irascible means easily angered or irritated. Another word for short tempered. There are many people, no, you don't have to do a lot to ignite them. They just start shouting, fighting, and saying stuff, just by listening one thing about themselves. So, yeah, some people are easily angered or irritated, and we call them as short tempered generally. That is irascible. She is becoming more and more irascible as she grows older. That means with age, she is becoming more irritated and she gets angry quickly, right? I get very angry when judges are irascible towards young counsel. That means sometimes judges are irritated or, they are angered by young counsel. So that annoys this person. This irascible trait naturally served to increase his enemies. Irascible trait, the trait or character or nature of being short tempered. So, being short tempered caused her to increase her enemies, right? So, irascible, someone who is easily angered or irritated, in other words, short tempered. This woman seems very irritated right now. All right. And next word is irksome. Now, irksome is someone who is causing annoyance, someone who is bothersome or tiresome. Kids are sometimes irksome, right? Because they cause annoyance, right? So, irksome is the person who is causing annoyance, or you can also call that person bothersome or tiresome. They're bothering you, right? Or they're tiring you. The vibration can become irksome after a while, right? Certain, let's say if the phone keeps vibrating in your pocket, after some time it's annoying. The presentation is intriguing, the text mostly irksome. So the presentation was good. The presentation wanted people to know more, they were excited, but the text was very, bothersome. They couldn't really understand what was written. What an irksome task the writing of long letters is. So, writing long letters is very tiresome. You get tired doing it, right? So, if something is very tiring, bothers you, annoys you, you can say that thing is irksome, just like this kid. Right. Sometimes kids cry a lot, and crying kids are irksome, right? They bothered you, they irritate you. So, yeah, that's irksome. All right. Irrefutable. Now, if something is impossible to be proved wrong, you can't say that this thing is wrong. You can't prove that it's wrong. That thing is irrefutable. Or you can also say, if something is indisputable, you can't raise a dispute in that thing. So that is irrefutable. The pictures provide irrefutable evidence of the incident. That means those pictures are proving, they are giving evidence of that incident and they cannot be proven wrong. They're very good evidence. Only truth that is tested by practice is irrefutable. In the face of such irrefutable facts, he was struck dumb. Now, let's say there was some person and he was really trying to, save his mane, and he was saying all the lies that he could to save himself. But when he was given all the facts which were not to be proved wrong, those facts were indisputable, they were true, totally true, there was no loophole in them, then he was struck down. He couldn't speak anything. He lost his words. So that is irrefutable, something that is impossible to be proved wrong or is indisputable. Irremediable. Irremediable means something that is not possible to be cured. Irremediable remedy, you can find a solution, can find a cure. Irremediable cannot find a solution, cannot find the cure. So if something is impossible to cure, repair, or correct, we say it's irremediable. His memory suffered irremediable damage. That means his memory underwent this damage and he's not able to come back from it. Right? His memory has suffered a damage that cannot be cured, cannot be repaired, cannot be corrected. He won't get his memory back. The whole city was affected by the irremediable calamity. That means there was a calamity, a disaster, which cannot be corrected. Now you can't repair this disaster. Like over time, yes, but the city was affected by, such immense destruction that you can't reverse it. It's impossible to be repaired. Is their defeat final and irremediable? That means you can't correct this defeat. Right? So they're asking, is this defeat final and we can't really correct it? Right? So that is irremediable, something that is impossible to cure, repair, or correct. Right? If you can't correct a situation, it's an irremediable situation. If you can't repair something, it's irremediably damaged. Right? And if, let's say, you can't cure a headache, it's irremediable headache. All right. Irresolute. Irresolute means not able or willing to take decisions or actions. Now, resolute means you are taking a decision that I'm going to do this, right? We take New Year resolutions, no? So, resolute means to take a decision, and irresolute. You must be noticing adding IR before certain words is giving them a negative connotation, right? Like it's giving them not negative connotation. I should perfectly say they are making it opposite of the base word. So resolute, making decisions, right? Irresolute, not being able to take decisions or actions, right? Okay. So we can say, thus, political parties are seen as being irresolute. That means political parties are not willing to take decisions or actions, right? He was old and somewhat irresolute and indecisive. That means he was old and now he was not willing to make any decisions for himself or take any actions. He was just like, however my life goes, I'll go with the flow. The irresolute spend the most precious moments of life regretting. People who are not able or who are not willing to take decisions or take an action, these people spend most precious moments of their life just regretting. They'll keep thinking, if I did this, it would be like that. Right? So instead of doing this, regretting, let's just take the action. So irresolute means not being able or not willing to take decisions or actions. It's irresolute. Jettison reminds me of the series Jetson. All right. So jettisons is, you can see here, to push or to throw something, right? So to push something to the side or toss away something is jettison, right? So it's like a verb. If you are pushing something to the side or tossing something away, tossing something, that means you don't really need it, you're throwing it away. Or drop something from a ship, you are, what are you doing? You are doing a jettison, right? You had to jettison it. We have had to jettison our holiday plans because of David's accident. Jettison can also be used to say that you tossed aside your plans, right? So if you pushed your plans aside, that means you jettisoned your plans, right? We have had to jettison our holiday plans because of his accident. David got into an accident. They can't go on the trip anymore. So they tossed their holiday aside. They pushed it to the side. They are not going in. Captain had to jettison the cargo and make an emergency landing. So the captain had to toss the cargo outside the ship. I'm sorry, outside the plane. And that's when they had to make an emergency landing, right? So jettison the cargo, throw away the cargo. No part of mathematics was to be jettisoned or even truncated. That means no part of mathematics was to be pushed to the side or tossed away. Everything was important. Nothing should have been ignored, right? Nothing should have been, called as out of syllabus or should not be studied or is not important. So jettison means to push something to the side, maybe plans, maybe an object, right? Or to toss away something outside, maybe cargo, maybe bags, right? Or to drop something from a ship or an airplane. That is jettison. As you can see, this girl is totally throwing stuff out. So she had to jettison this, all these suitcases, right? Maybe they are going to do an emergency landing. All right. Next is juxtaposition. Juxtaposition means to put things that are not similar next to each other. So let's say there is one yellow pencil, one red pencil, and these are two different things, not similar things, and I'm putting them next to each other. So what am I doing? I'm juxtapositioning them, right? Exhibition juxtaposes Picasso's early drawings with his later works. So if I'm keeping Picasso's early drawings next to his, more recent works, so I am juxtaposing the two paintings. The juxtaposition of these two remarks was startling. That means two remarks which were absolutely different, and listening to such remarks consecutively means there was a juxtaposition of the remarks. It is the result of the juxtaposition of contrasting colors. So this thing is a result of placement of two contrasting colors together next to each other. So juxtaposition, putting two things next to each other, but these two things are not similar, right? That is juxtaposition. All right, time to revise. Juxtaposition. It means to put things that are not similar next to each other. So I'm putting, let's say, someone else's painting with a totally different person's painting. I'm juxtapositioning the two paintings, right? Two colored pencils, different color pencils, kept together next to each other, juxtaposition, right? So juxtaposition, to put things that are not similar next to each other, right? Jettison. Jettison is a verb which means to push aside something or to toss away something as not being of importance, or dropping something out of a ship or an airplane, right? Or pushing something aside, maybe on a chair, on a table, right? So jettison means to push to the side or toss away, drop something from a ship or an airplane. Just like she had to jettison the cargo because they were going to make an emergency landing. Irresolute. Resolute is like taking decisions, right? Taking an action. Irresolute means not being able to take decisions or actions. If you keep thinking, I'll do this, I'll do that, and you never actually take the action, that means you are irresolute, right? So don't irresolute, take the action. Irremediable, remediable, something that can be cured, repaired, or corrected. Irremediable, something which is impossible to cure, repair, or correct, right? So maybe a headache, maybe a disease is irremediable. That means it's impossible to cure it, repair it, or correct it, right? So you can talk about irremediable diseases, irremediable damage, irremediable let's say results, right? You can't correct the results. Irrefutable means something that is absolutely correct. You can't prove it wrong. It's indisputable. You can't put in a dispute on that thing. There is no need or no way in which you can raise a question on that. Right? For example, fingerprints. If we find someone's fingerprint, that means that person would come under suspicion or might just be the culprit, right? Because fingerprints are irrefutable evidence. You can't prove this evidence wrong, right? Next is irksome. Irksome means any person who causes annoyance, is bothersome or irritates you or tires you. So, tiresome, right? Someone who is bothersome, tiresome, or causes annoyance, right? They are irksome. So, it's an adjective. For example, kids become irksome when they are tired, right? So, when they are, you can also say they are tiresome because they tire you, or they're bothersome because they bother you. So, crying kids are irksome. They are bothering us, they cause annoyance. Irascible means you are easily angered or irritated. In simple terms, you are short tempered. So, if someone is short tempered, that means they are irascible. Right? For example, when people are growing older, they become more irascible. They become easily angered, easily irritated. Even small things irritate them. So, irascible is someone who is short tempered. Invigorate means to make someone feel fresher, healthier, and more energetic. For example, exercises, right? Working out, exercising in the morning can invigorate us, can make us feel fresher, healthier, and more energetic during the day. Right? Some people think yoga does that. Some people think meditation does that. Right? So invigorate is to make someone feel fresher, healthier, and more energetic. It can be in any way. Right? Invigo means to persuade someone to do something, and you're doing it in a dishonest way. If you are trying to ask a friend of yours to collab with a scheme, or collab with you in a scheme, and you know that scheme is not good, so you are persuading them in a dishonest way. That means you inveigled them, right? For example, a lot of people get inveigled in con schemes, or they get totally scammed. So inveigle, to persuade someone to do something in a dishonest way. Intrinsic means being an extremely important characteristic of a person or a thing. If you are an important part of an organization, if something is an important part of your life, so that thing is intrinsic for you. For example, sports is an important part of school curriculum. So sports are intrinsic part, right? Stay at home mothers, they are intrinsic part of family finances, right? They are crucial, they're important to maintain the family finances, right? So that is intrinsic, right? All right, guys, thank you so much for listening, and I would see you all soon. Bye.